Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Armory. This is Daily here for GamersPlatoon checking in with you. Today we're going to be bringing you Sid Meier's Civilization 5. So this is a real-time strategy, not the smaller kind. I wouldn't class it as a grand real-time strategy because it's not necessarily, that big, but it's definitely not your average real-time strategy. It doesn't deal with individual soldiers or even groups. It deals with entire nations, which I guess can technically be considered a grand real-time strategy, but it's not as complicated as one of those. But yeah, today we're going to check this out. There's a couple of things that I'm going to show you right off the bat that I like, and that is, for one, the mod section. You'll see here that the game has mods all built into the game here. You can download it via the in-game menu here. It kind of explains to you what the mod is and what it does for the game. So it's neat for a developer to actually put in mod support right off the bat, right in their main menu. The second thing that we have in here is, wrong section. On the other tab, you have a news feed in the game that you can click to view. You have this Civilopedia, which basically explains to you how the game works. It's an in-depth tutorial on what is what and how to operate, because this game can get kind of complicated if you're not careful. So this is always good to see, and I'm glad they have something like this in the game. It cuts your research time in half, from the videos you have to watch on YouTube to your trial and error in game. If you have a problem or you have something that you need to see done, this is the exact way that you can get it done. And then last but not least, you have the Hall of Fame and replays. The Hall of Fame shows you your highest scores from the game, which is pretty neat to be able to track that. A lot of games, they don't offer you your highest score anymore. And then you have the replay, which by definition allows you to view the games that you have played, which is awesome to be able to go back and look at what you've done. And they have different speeds for the replays, so you can speed it up if you play a big game. Which brings us to our single player. We're not looking at multiplayer today because it is the same thing as single player, but with a friend or an enemy, whatever you're looking at. There's a couple different things. You can do a scenario, which is a predetermined set course, and you will act out on the scenario, or you can set up a game, and that is your customized playable experience. So in the setup, you have a couple different options, which is awesome. You have the continents. You have anywhere from just a small type of map to a medium size to island size, or you can do the entire Earth, which is awesome. I like playing the big sizes. You'll see the map size. You go to huge and turn the difficulty up. It's got a bunch of different difficulty settings, which is awesome. And then the game pace. This is where, as I was just stating a minute ago, this is where you can determine the length of the game. Sid Meier has always created very awesome real-time strategy games, but I guess in the concept of gamers nowadays not having, some of you guys not having that big of an attention span, you can make this game very quick. It takes about 15 to 30 minutes to play. The standard is around 45 minutes. The epic is around an hour or two, and then the marathon, which is the longest type of game, which could probably go on for weeks at a time. And so it's nice for the game to kind of offer you these things in case maybe you don't have all fucking week to play the game. You want to play a quick game that's all here. That's all customizable. There's tons of advanced options for you to check out, and the game really lets you play this game the way that you want to, and I like that. So we're going to hop into the in-game. I'm going to show you a couple of the features and a couple of the things that make civilization, and we'll move on from there. Alright guys, so here we are in-game for Civilization 5. You see it is a top-down real-time strategy game. And as I said before, you're controlling entire groups and entire nations. So it really kind of plays out a couple different ways with Civilization. It is a turn-based hexagon strategy game. You'll see that I have a certain number of moves that I can do. So you fans of the turn-based strategy, you kind of get to see some stuff here. So it has the turn-based strategy, but it also has a deep city element as far as building. And you'll see here I can create cities, and within the cities I can manage everything about it, from the production, the gold, the science, the research. Everything is controllable here within the city, and the more things that I create, the more things that I can produce: workers, warriors, scouts, as far as troops. I can expand the city by buying tiles and just kind of make this a gigantic city. And that aspect is cool because you not only have the real-time strategy with the war and the fighting and the discovery, but you also have a pretty deep and customizable city builder as well. So every time that you make a city, you get to choose research for that city, and we're going to go into that, what that research does, and how it kind of affects the game. But Sid Meier kind of stands out on this. I know a couple games do this, maybe Age of Empires, I think they do it, but Sid Meier really does it well, and this is what I like. So here you'll see mining. I'm researching mining in my city, correct? So in the overall grand scheme of things, you'll have different resources which will open up this technology tree, and within this technology tree you will see where you advance. We're in the ancient era. I'm playing as an Indians right now, so you'll see that I currently have 3 or 4 different options available. I have this one which is currently researching, and all these other ones is things that I unlock. So I start out in the ancient period. The more research and the more things I unlock will take me to the classic era, to the medieval era, to the Renaissance era, and the industrial era, the modern era, and the future era, which is the time periods advanced depending on the game mode that you selected. You'll see the turns here. This takes 8 turns. This takes 17 turns. If you're playing a quick game, it may take less. And you can definitely see the progressions here, so you can tell how long your game's going to be by checking out this research page. But there's a couple of different ways to win, not just research. So the next thing is the nations, other nations in the game. See, I'm the only nation that I have here, but this map is pretty big. This is just a small part that I can see. There's plenty more that goes into this map, but this is just my box that I can see for now. So within the game you'll find other nations which you can negotiate peace with, or you can go to war with and do different types of trading, different things like that. You have these advisors that will tell you if you're kind of lost on how to play. These guys will explain to you what to research and how to get to the next stage with your civilization. And then the last thing are these social policies. This is another way to win the game. If you max out these social policies that you get by obtaining different objectives within the game, like having a certain number of people or having a certain number of resources. You'll see different resources in here, where deer, cotton, some ancient ruins and things like that all around here. So there's other ways to win the game besides just eliminating all the nations. Some nations have an objective that you can reach to win, but you can continue to play after you reach that objective. The game doesn't necessarily end. As I said, it's fully customizable to the way that you want to play. So moving on, we're going to just try and see if we can find a little bit of combat and show you what that's like. But as a real-time strategy, this is where civilization shines. You can actually build up your quote-unquote civilizations and expand your empire all over the globe depending on the map that you're playing. So very cool
guys,
feature.
so
we have found a barbarian encampment here. The combat in the game is cool, don't get me wrong. It's not the best. No, let me see that city shooting at me. It doesn't like me. But in any case, the combat is judged based on your unit type versus their unit type. You'll see here it says I will have a minor victory. It'll show you the exact number of troops that you'll most likely use and why that you'll probably lose those. And they do a little animation when they go in there and they'll fight. So it's cool. You have something visual to look at, and it's not just here's some numbers. This is what happened. It actually gives you a little view of what actually happened.
The enemy unit
it's pretty nice to have that. So we'll go ahead and kill these barbarians here. Oh wow, I didn't kill them. But you see, that's how the combat plays out. This is an early unit, so it's not as intense. But when you get in here with the robots and the tank beams and the everything else. It's pretty decisive as far as
We have a unit
the
that is on the
combat.
verge
It's
of being
definitely
destroyed.
something that you can pick out from an another type of real-time strategy game. So I really enjoy Sid Meier's Civilization 5. I think you guys will too. We've looked at the city building aspect. We've looked at all the customizable options. We've looked at some of the in-game combat. We've looked at how the game plays, and personally I think you can have a lot of fun playing this game if you're a real-time strategy fan. To play this thing on the max time setting with the max world setting, you can really develop an entire nation the way you want to. It adds a lot of custom ability into your hands and really lets you play the game the way that you want to play. And those are the kind of games that I like, and Sid Meier's right on
We
point.
have
So
succeeded.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Armory. We will catch you guys next time. We'll be checking out Diablo 3. Can't wait for that one. See you next time, guys.